Hi guys, it's Lori the Frugal Mom. This is a short video because I need to vent. And again, the purpose is not for anybody to feel sorry for me, just I need to vent. And maybe some of you have had neurodivergent kids, or you are yourself, or you can identify with this in any way. So, for those of you who don't know, Matt sleeps downstairs in my living room in the summer because it's excessively hot upstairs. We have an air conditioner. It can't keep up because the house is not properly air conditioned. And I'm not just talking like 70 degrees. It gets to be 120, 130 degrees up there. So it's normally not a problem. However, for the past few months, Steve has been coming over on a Saturday night. He is a postman. He lives about an hour and a half away. Well, for him, he takes the Parkway, so a little over an hour away. So yeah. He comes over 7:30 around on Saturday night, and he sleeps over on Sunday night, and we have the whole day on Sunday together. He does go to sleep very early on Sunday because he has to get up at about 4:15. So he's in bed usually by about 7, no later than 7:30 on Sunday evening. So this means that we need to keep the house reasonably quiet. So last week we had an issue because my daughter was here too, and the kids haven't really spent a lot of time together in the past few months, so they were having a good time. And, Matt just can't control his volume, and I know that part of that's his neurodivergency. So, and we live in, a decent-sized apartment, but my bedroom is off the living room, and that's where they were. So, Steve kept getting woken up by laughing or banging or different noises. And I know when you have children, you can't expect them to put their hands in their pockets, but this went on into the middle of the night because Matt's just not capable of being considerate all the time. Or very much at all, actually. So for that behavior last week, especially since he mouthed off, he was punished for 2 days. So that was no Snapchat and no going out other than to work. So that was last week. It took him days to realize that he was kind of a jerk. And there were some other things that went on too. He has a habit of borrowing things without asking. So I won't get too into that. So fast forward to this weekend. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just a little bit shaken. And it wasn't really even that bad. It's just aggravating. So fast forward to this weekend. By the time Friday came around, Matt realized he had to apologize, or he should apologize to Steve, which he did when Steve got here last night. And all was good between them. And honestly, Matt went to sleep pretty late last night, about 3 o'clock, and he needs to get on a better schedule, but, sometimes it's difficult. So I pick my battles. So, yeah, so Steve and I went to a movie today. We went to a movie around noon, and then we went out for lunch/dinner, and then we were home by about, let me think, 3:30, so not tremendously long, and Matt had maybe gotten up at like 1. So, it was a good rest of the day. Steve and I went to bed around 7 because we were just so tired. I woke up not really feeling too good today. I had a bad night last night, and I won't get too into that, but, just my stomach was acting up. So I just wanted to go to sleep early, and sometimes the nights before Steve goes home on a Monday, like Sunday nights, for instance, that was a better way to say it. Sorry again. I will get up, in the middle of the night, and I will cook for him and make us lunch, and I like doing that because I want it to be as fresh as possible, and I don't have room in the refrigerator to store it otherwise. So anyway, I digress. Sorry, guys. So, yeah, so we went to sleep early, and at 10 o'clock, a couple minutes after, Matt comes into my room, wakes me up out of my sleep, and tells me that he wants ice cream. So, allow me to give you the backstory on our freezer. So, we have a side-by-side fridge. I don't like it. It's not very convenient. You have to take everything out to get to something that's behind something, and that's the only way to fill the freezer and the fridge, where a wider fridge or one with the fridge on top and the freezer in a drawer on the bottom is much more convenient. However, as you guys know, I rent this place and I have no control over the appliances they put in. It is a nice refrigerator in the fact that it was brand new when we got it, so I am grateful for that I have a working fridge and freezer. So, having said all that, he decides that he's going to take the ice cream it was on the bottom of a shelf, and everything on top flew out of the freezer, and he was freaking out and screaming at the top of his lungs. So not only did he wake up Steve when he came to wake me up, he was screaming all over my apartment about not being able to get to the ice cream easily. I've got news for you. Those of you who have a side-by-side know nothing is easy to get to if you keep a well-stocked fridge and freezer. You just gotta go in there and take things off the top of things to get to what you want if it's on the bottom. This is just life, problem solving. And then he was mad because the top of the ice cream hadn't been touched. He hasn't had ice cream in a couple of days and it got a little freezer burn. But honestly, if you just take the scoop off the top, underneath was fine. So he threw it out, which is wasteful, which you guys know I hate. So another point to mention is that I had a small pack of those mini little ice cream cones. They're about that big. And I had 3 left out of the pack. And he ate all those earlier, so he had already had some ice cream today. He had already been fed dinner. He had prepared food in the fridge if he got hungry after that. So there's really no reason for him to even go in there in the first place. And, I mean, we're not talking about like a small child. We're talking about a 16-year-old. So the problem about him screaming at 10 o'clock at night is not only did he wake up Steve, who's a very light sleeper and takes medication to sleep, woke up the whole apartment, the kids next door and whatnot. So that's upsetting. And I'm nauseous now from being woken up out of my deep sleep. I know it's not always easy for my kids, but I mean, there are just days where I need to rest. I'll go, and I'll do things with them. And then the next day, I need to rest, and that's just life. But as I explained to him yesterday, we were talking about the plans for today. I have all week with him, and usually, for the past couple months, I only have 1, maybe 2 days with Steve. Last week I was lucky, I had 4, which was awesome. So we did invite him to the movie. And we did invite him out to lunch, but he didn't want to get up. And we talked to him about it last night. So, I mean, maybe jealousy was part of it, but he kept saying disrespectful things like, he didn't care about Steve having to go to sleep early and having to get up early for work. It wasn't his issue. Steve doesn't pay bills for this house, but I'm just appalled by the level of disrespect because he wasn't brought up this way. And, poor Steve tried to go back to sleep for an hour, but Matt just couldn't be quiet. He was using a remote control car in the living room, again, which is right off the bedroom. And he couldn't settle down and go back to sleep. So at 10:30 at night, my poor Steve got up, got dressed, and drove home. I mean, he got home about, 11:15. There's no traffic at that time of night. So that's good. And he's going to get up, at 6 for work. So his sleep was compromised and broken. I hope he can fall back to sleep. I feel terrible about it. I don't feel well now. I'm just so frustrated. I mean, I know that, Matt has these issues because of his neurodivergency, but some of it is just out and out disrespect. And he would never ever do this at his father's house, which I don't understand. Not that I want him to, mind you. I want him to be respectful anywhere, but I just don't know why he can't practice kindness and respect here. So I told him, I said, you're now punished for another 3 days. I upped it from last week. Last week it was 2 days. Now it's 3 days because I don't understand why you can't be quiet. It's not hard. You don't come into my room demanding things from me. And again, a reminder, my sister's also here, so it's not like he's lonely and by himself. He's playing video games. He likes to hang out in her room sometimes when he does it. They listen to music together. So my door is open, because I like the air conditioner to come in. The air conditioning, rather. I don't always like to have mine on to save electric, but, if there was a true emergency, that's one thing. So that's what I'm going through tonight. I am very frustrated, very tired, and nauseous. If any of you have been through this, let me know in the comments. And as you guys know, this is not what all of my videos are about. I try to keep it positive. I try to keep it light. Unfortunately, I don't have anybody other than my weekly therapist to talk to. Some of my friends, they have backed away. And even before they did, I didn't always want to trouble them with, all of my tales of woe, let's call them. Because, I don't want to bring people down with it either. So, that's my night, guys. I am going to edit a video since I'm up, and I'll post that later on if I make it to that, because I am very tired too. I just hope I'm able to relax to go back to sleep and try to relax and take my mind off of everything. I just wish that this would be easier. I mean, he does so well, and I am so proud of him in so many ways, but it seems like the second I acknowledge that, the behavior backslides, and it's sad, it's frustrating. And I just want a peaceful life, that's all. So, I will see you guys in the next video. I hope you're having a better day than I am. Bye.